Welcome to the Creators Guild podcast. I'm Chris Howell, and behind the camera,
Jared Lovelady.
And we are here to talk about all things creative. We are at the farmer's market again, and it's raining.
Yes, it is.
There's music playing in the background, and it's a little bit chaotic. So we're inside my Toyota. And we've got a guest with us. Ed Lee, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Ed Lee, and I'm a retired attorney turned fictional writer. I got my first book published in January called The Poydras Ring, and it's kind of a historical thriller about New Orleans. And I don't know, I kind of got the bug because I took a trip down there to do a job interview, and we kind of fell in love with the city, and that was in 1978, and I think we've made about 22 trips back there since.
Now, did you get the first inspiration to start writing in 78?
Well,
has the Poydras Ring been kind of in development since 1978?
I wrote the book probably in around 87.
Okay.
And put it up on the shelf where it laid for 30 some years.
Yeah.
And when I retired from my law practice, I decided, I ought to get that book down off the shelf and see if I can make anything of it. And, it took a while, hired a local editor, and finally found a publisher foolish enough to take it, and finally got it published, and now I'm trying to sell it.
Yeah. Yep, at the farmer's market.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah.
So, where was your law practice at? Were you
here in Springfield?
Okay.
Yeah.
Does the fact that you did law practice and went to New Orleans, did those merge together in any way in the Poydras Ring? Like, is there any influence from your
not really.
Your career history that rolls into that?
I went to New Orleans to interview for a job with Chevron Oil, that's what first got me there. But the book, actually, the idea for the book came from watching the news one night. They had a segment on Julian Poydras, who was a famous founder of colonial Louisiana and self-made man who came from France, but he left in his will an endowment for brides that had no dowries, because as a young man in France, he was in love with this girl, but she was so poor she couldn't provide a dowry, and her family wouldn't let him marry her. So when he became wealthy and successful, he set up this dowry for poor brides in Point Coupé Parish and Baton Rouge Parish. So they would have a dowry if they couldn't afford one. And to this day, that dowry endowment still exists in West Baton Rouge, because they invested his original $30,000 in the oil business. And it was quite successful.
That was a reasonably.
But that's what got me started to research Julian Poydras and his background and history. And then making all those trips to New Orleans, I kind of got the bug to look into the history of Voo Doo and visited Marie Laveau's grave in the cemetery. And so I combined those two stories, kind of.
Gotcha. So some of the characters from a historical perspective, the events and the towns and things like that, are based on people that existed and events that actually happened.
Right. What I did is I took alternating timelines. The colonial period with Julian Poydras, I've tried to keep the events there pretty based on historical actual events.
Yeah.
And then I created a alternate timeline on ancestors, descendants of Julian Poydras,
Mhm.
and how they benefited from his endeavors with voodoo. He has an encounter with voodoo queens that give him the Poydras ring, which is an amulet that gives you protected eternal life.
Hmm. So is it, what genre does this fall under?
I call it a historical fiction thriller because it's historical fiction, but it's got, the fantasy elements that are not. They're not historical. They're based
Yeah.
on historical characters, but the events themselves are not historical.
But so with the voodoo, does it fall under like the fantasy side of voodoo, and then does it have thriller as far
Right.
as like, because it's the does the book go back and forth timeline wise, like go back into the colonial area and then jump
Yeah.
to a more
Alternating
modern timeline?
chapters.
Okay.
One chapter will be colonial period, and the next one will be 1987 New Orleans. So.
Okay. So with that, with the modern timeline, does that have like an actual like investigative thriller type
Right.
approach to it?
Right. What happens is the protagonist in the modern timeline finds the Poydras ring and puts it on accidentally, and then discovers that you can't take it off or you die.
Hmm.
And then if you keep it on, it usually drives you crazy. So
Do you go into a cave and pet it and say, my precious, or
not quite that bad. But the storyline is, how do we save her from the curse of the Poydras ring? And that's where the voodoo elements come in, and trying to find the saving incantations that can take away the curse and get the ring off without causing her death.
Okay. So from a thriller perspective, it's not a like murder mystery type thriller. It would be like a paranormal type thriller.
Right. Yeah, that's true. There's no crime to solve. It's just a dilemma.
But there is a mystery to solve.
Yes, there
just
is
not
a
a criminal mystery.
Right.
Okay. Now, is this a standalone? Are there other books?
It's a standalone. Should have tried to make it a series, but I killed everybody off. Just about. Well, no, I don't. No,
don't tell everybody the ending.
No. I mean, there's two of the main characters that survive, so you have to read that. But no, I just like the historical elements of Louisiana, and my next book, I just finished the manuscript, is mainly about the pirate Jean Lafitte
Mm-hmm.
and his adventures.
So there's another historical fiction,
Right, but not at all a series.
Not connected to the Poydras ring at all.
Not connected at all. I just like the history of that area.
Now, is it going to be the approach you're taking to the new book, John Lafitte? Is it going to be something similar, where kind of a fantasy take or a supernatural or some other take on it similar to this?
It is. It's got, instead of a voodoo curse, I've got a Mayan curse. And I've got all kinds of characters. I've got a Cajun werewolf and a New Orleans madam and a Cajun treasure hunter. So, it's like Treasure Island hits a wall. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you keep doing that, you could have, you got the Poydras ring, and then have the
Lafitte's ghost.
There you go, Lafitte's. You do enough of them, you get like 5, and then you can have a box set like
there you go,
the cursed,
the curse set.
Yeah. Where it's all set like the Poydras ring. Is it a blessing? Is it a curse?
Right.
Lafitte, it's obviously a curse. Who knows? Lots of different things that all center around you know,
Yeah, I still try to.
Louisiana curses or something like that.
I try to base it on a actual um, historical element,
Hmm.
but then I embellish the heck out of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what fiction is, right?
There you go. That's right. That's right.
People like mountains and caves, and then well, let's throw orcs and dragons in there.
There you go. Yeah, I like that.
You're just embellishing on your love of caves. So for you, where can people go to find the Poydras Ring? How can they connect to you? How can they find you
Oh,
as an
okay.
author?
Well, I've got a Facebook page, but it's on Amazon, of course, and ebook and hardback. Barnes and Noble had it for a while. I don't know if they still got copies, but it's published by History of Fiction. So,
So look for if people want to find you, they can search for Ed Lee.
yeah, just Ed Lee, Lee, author.
Okay.
Got a Facebook page where I blog about New Orleans history and events in that part of the country.
Okay.
So
that's where they find you, and then for the book, go to Amazon and
yeah,
you can
there's
get
other sites,
hardback or
hardback or ebook. There's several sites that have it. Like you can get it on. Heck, I can't remember. So several languages I've found it on. You can even get it in Korean.
yeah.
Okay, so anybody that needs it in Korean, look on the web, you'll find it.
Okay, so go find Korean to read about Louisiana.
There you go.
And,
Yeah.
okay, well, any interesting tidbits or facts of anything that you discovered about Poydras that you want to share?
Well, I think again the most interesting thing was the fact that he set up those dowries that lasted all these years for.
But as far as you know, he's not actually somewhere still alive, living off of the wealth.
No,
with a ring that keeps him eternally young.
No, I'm afraid he actually died in the 1820s. So,
or
we think so.
Or are you? Of course, the records would show that, but have you investigated that far?
Yeah.
Have you really done that homework, Ed?
Well, I'll tell you about Marie Laveau's tomb is still visited regularly. Yeah. And you'll find if you go there, people will leave offerings there. And supposedly, if you make the sign of the cross 3 times and leave an offering, she'll grant your wish. I actually did that. But it took her 30 years to grant my wish and get my book published.
So maybe the wish is you still have to do the work.
There you go.
I wish I had $1 million. Great.
I have to go back for that one.
Go get the right job, invest the right money, and you will have your wish will
there
come
you go.
true.
All right. All with these limitations. All right.
Yeah. Well, Ed, thanks for coming and sharing with us. We will point anybody your direction. Go look on Facebook for Ed Lee author. Go to Amazon, look up the Poydras Ring. For anybody listening, it's Poydras.
Right.
Look up the Poydras Ring and get a historical fiction thriller. So we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yep. Right. Let us know. Keep us up to date on when your next book comes out and what the progress is. And
all right,
you can come back and we'll announce it. We'll announce when your book's coming. We'll come back and talk about that one next time.
Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. So we're still at the farmer's market and we're here with Aurelia. How are you?
Good. What about you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How's the market going so far?
I think despite the rain, pretty well. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that is the most important thing is, are you having fun?
Yes.
Yeah, we've I connect with a lot of different authors and writers, and in fact, this morning had a conversation about what are all the writing rules and how marketing and whatnot. And I'm like, as a reader, I just want to read a good story.
Yes.
When someone's like, don't info dump, don't start with quotes, don't whatever. I'm like, I just want to read good stuff and have fun. And as an author, I just want to write
Yes.
stuff and have fun. I still want to make money because I'd love to just do this.
Yes.
But just having fun is kind of the big thing.
Yeah, I think all the rules are really hard, especially in the beginning. You know, you have this story in your mind and you start writing it, and then you get critique partners and beta readers and editors to help you. And they're like, you need to fix that. You need to fix that. There's too many words here. And you're like, oh my gosh, my story's terrible.
Yeah.
And then you start rewriting it. And I think there's a good balance between, I really love the Pirates of the Caribbean. They're more just guidelines.
Yeah. Well, how many times have we had people read the same chapter and we'll get a response and someone will be like, you know, I kind of got lost in this chapter. It was, you know, some of the description, I didn't really need that. I just wanted to follow the character.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same chapter, a different person will read it and be like, you know, you could really add some more description here and really take me into this a little bit deeper
Yes.
than what you have. And so, and I'm like, we're just going to leave it alone.
Yes.
It seems like it's in the middle. We're just going to stop.
I learned rather quickly there's a balance between finding your voice and style and following the guidelines.
Yeah.
Because I've had 2 professional editors tell me completely opposite things.
Yes.
And I think it's to that degree, and that was my most eye-opening moment was, wow, even professionals disagree on a couple of these things. So let me just find the balance between and just make it my voice.
Yeah.
Because
Now-
it is my story ultimately.
Yeah. The important thing is make sure it's coherent
Yes.
and try to be as well written. Just, you know, write it well.
Yes.
Because there have been some people's stories that I've read and I'm like, this was not ready for publication.
Yeah, I
Not
think
because you don't have a good story, but I don't think you read your story after you wrote it.
yes, and I think that was an important thing because I'm a self-published indie author,
Yeah.
and I mean I could go write something in 10 minutes and publish it and be like, yay, I'm published. And so there's a lot of discipline there, and you have to be able to step back and take their critique and not let it hurt your feelings and be like, okay, they're not trying to change my voice, they're just trying to improve how my voice sounds.
Yeah.
And so editing, oh my gosh, that ended up being the most monstrous process.
Yeah.
But I learned from it, and ultimately I do think my story is very well written, but that's how I was. I was like, I want a good story, but I also wanted something that people will pick up and will look polished and professional, and they won't even know it's indie.
Yeah.
They'll think, wow, this was published by, you know, a real publisher.
Yeah.
Which I did make my own fictitious publishing company. It's called Piddly Pinchers Publishing.
Nice.
So, but it is professionally edited, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something, I mean, it's difficult. There are people that edit their own work. We've had our books. So book 1 was both proof edited edit from a proofing perspective and from a content
Yep.
edit perspective. You know, in book 2, we've had it content edited. We're going through and revising. We're still...
It's a nightmare.
I know. You could
Taking
revise
forever.
forever. I did have one editor say at some point you have to say this is good enough.
Yeah.
Because even still after it's published, I'll read a passage and be like, oh, I could write that much, much better.
Yeah.
But it's still written well.
Yeah.
And so at some point you just be like, you know what? It is good enough.
Well,
Because I will perfect this thing for all eternity.
That same quote, it comes back over and over and over again, that a story is never finished. It's just abandoned.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, I feel that.
Like at some point you have to be like, okay, I'm nothing else.
Yes.
Not because I couldn't find something else, but I can't continue to go through and find the something else's.
Yeah, and it's almost a futile process at that point. You're like, the story's really good. Are you necessarily improving the overall story, or are you just tweaking little bits here and there?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I felt like now I am finished editing, because the story is well written and told very well. The edits I'm making aren't necessarily improving.
Yeah. And you run into there, you know, with all the little tweaks and everything, you start to lose your voice,
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
that you want your voice in your writing.
Yep.
Yeah, you're like, we've talked about some of the stuff like, okay, we're getting too clinical, and now,
Yep.
like, it's almost to the point where we're now starting to be detrimental in editing, and it's getting too sterile.
Yeah, I've done that before
We're like,
too.
nope, go back, undo, it's good enough.
Yes, I did that an entire chapter once. I was like, okay, I'm gonna edit this thing, and then when I was all done, I was like, no, I think I liked my old version better, and I had already saved it, and it wouldn't undo. And I was like, no. So I had to kind of rewrite back to what it was, and now it ended up fine. But I was, for a minute there, I was like, man, I really should have kept my old chapter.
That's where revisions are important.
Yes.
And we have documents where we're like, okay, we're going to cut this and rewrite it. So let's cut this and we're going to paste it
Copy
over
it.
here.
Yes, I have learned that.
So that we
lesson.
can come back if we're like, no, we got to go back and look at the original. Like we've janked something up in here.
Yep. I've learned that lesson now. I have multiple copies. I only edit in one format. And then when I'm fully satisfied, then I copy it and I leave it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like, leave this over here, only edit over here.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some hard experiences where we've gone back and been like, crap, what happened? Where did this go?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been helpful this time around. We have in Google Docs, we have the document that was shared with our editor. So it's got all her notes. And we leave that the way it was, original. And then we work in Word for our editing.
That's exactly what I do. I work in Word, and my Google Docs is like my quote backup.
Yeah. Well, and then we have another version of like, because we sent it to our editor, and then she sent it back to us with the notes in it. So we have the going to her version that isn't even touched at all. So we're like, we have that. We have the note version in case we add notes or whatnot in there, and then we have our actual document that we're working in.
Yeah, and then sometimes when you're all done, you're like, okay, now I'm gonna make them all cohesive, and you got to remember, okay, I've got this one updated, that one updated, that one updated. I'm like, how many copies do I need here?
Well, with book one, I mean, it was a pain going back after we submitted it and everything, and then we're like, well, the formatting, we found some things, we need to go back, and we're like, which one was this?
Yes.
Like, we have to.
Yep.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, file titling is important.
Yes.
Yes. I've learned that too, because I got into that one right before this was ready to publish. I had all the different copies, and I'm like, well, which one was the one I was going to actually format and publish?
Yeah.
So then I had to go back and compare a whole bunch of them, and then I started like wording one like ready to format, and now I have a system on book 2 and 3. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it this way from the beginning, so I know exactly step by step which one is which.
Yeah. I think revision even either alphabet or number or both, something like that. Like with software, you have version 1.0 and 1.1 and 1.2 and then 2.0.
Yeah.
Whatever, because it is literally, we're like, okay, final edit.
Yeah.
And we try it, and then we're like, oh crap, we
final,
found something
final
else.
Edit.
Yeah, final, really. No.
For
we're
real
like,
this time.
Like, which one of these? Gosh dang it.
Yes.
So your book,
Yes.
Curse of the Gifted, and it's book 1 in what's the series?
Twin Kingdoms trilogy.
Okay, I heard you were talking about it a little bit earlier. It is indeed a trilogy, because ours was supposed to be a trilogy, and we lied to ourselves.
Yeah, mine is indeed a trilogy. When I first started writing, I thought it was going to be a standalone. And then it was becoming very obvious as time went by, and I'm only like a quarter of the way through the story, and it was already well over like 150,000 words. I was like, oh boy. And I had 2 very distinct plot arcs. So then I was like, okay, well, I'll make it a duology. But then it still wasn't quite working. Kind of this little third plot arc was trying to sneak its way in there. And I was like, okay, well, with how long these are, and I do have this little mini plot arc, if I just beef that one up, it would be a trilogy.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. Book 1 is actually the mini arc that I had originally.
Okay.
Book 2 and 3 were the original duology plot arcs I had, and I beefed up this one. And, for a little bit of an unplanned arc, it turned out really, really well. I'm very
Yeah.
excited about it. My books do have twists at the end, and so far both books, book 2 is not published yet, but the ARC readers and beta readers, quote, never saw it coming.
Yeah.
This one was the same, just not quite as intense, but they do have twists, which is a lot of fun because you're reading this book and you're really getting into the story, and then to have something thrown at you, they're like, holy crap, didn't see that coming. I personally love that in stories.
Yeah.
So I knew I set out with, I want one of those twist wow factors.
Yeah.
So all 3 of them have a twist wow factor at the end, and all 3 are written to potentially be a standalone.
Okay.
So you could finish the story here and everything is wrapped up tight. There's just a few loose threads.
Yeah.
And so books 2 and 3 take some of those loose threads and again go into a whole separate story that builds off of them. But there is the giant overreaching plot arc that the trilogy concludes.
Okay. And what's the genre? What's kind of the elevator pitch without
Yeah, well, let's
giving
see what
away the
I
ending?
can do it on my own. So it's a fantasy romance. I'd say about 70% fantasy, 30% romance. It is open door, so I do let my readers know that. But I would say still very clean.
Yeah.
It is not what I would call fairy smut or fairy porn. It is high fantasy, very dives into the magical elements and things like that. Magic is a big, big part of it. It's got some lore. There's werewolves, shapeshifters, things like that. I think that's a lot of fun. It's a portal fantasy. That's probably very important.
Yeah.
So you start off in modern day America. There are 3 women. All 3 women are flawed. I also like more mature characters. I myself, as I'm aging, love the fantasy genre, fantasy romance, all that. But it does usually center the females are like teenagers.
Yeah.
I just don't relate to them anymore. So I wanted someone I'm more closely related to. So all my characters are like late 20s, early 30s.
Mhm.
So there are more mature emotionally, cognitively, mentally, that sort of thing. I like that dynamic. And so, yeah, there's these 3 women who are very flawed. One is a drug addict. One is, she was abandoned at birth, so she has a lot of kind of anger management, abandonment issues.
Mhm.
And another one is a rising professional in the medical world, and they all kind of fall onto each other and get sucked through a portal into another magical world, and they're like, holy crap, how do I survive?
Yeah.
So the twin kingdoms in the other world, one of the kingdoms has fallen to a demon, and she has cursed all the people in the land, and now the twin kingdoms are at war.
Okay.
So
So they fall through the portal in the midst of kingdoms at war, a
Yep.
fallen kingdom.
Yep. And so there's enemies to lovers, the forced proximity, friends to lovers, all that sort of stuff. They don't know who to trust. They find themselves in this world. Should they go home? Should they stay? It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Is it? Have you heard of Lit RPG?
I have not.
So it's like a literary role playing game
Mhm.
where, like Dungeons and Dragons, but you're writing in a system, in like a game system,
Okay.
where it's a typically portal fantasy, where someone from our world gets sucked into like a game type
Yeah.
world. No elements like that. It is like a kid in King Arthur's court, where
Gotcha. Yes, it is a real world. The setup premise is we're all interconnected. There's like 4 realms. There's heaven and hell. They call them something different. And then there's what we call the living world, which is our world and every known planet in the universe. and then there's the magical realm.
Okay.
And the magical realm has reaches within all the realms, because even the gift of life is magical. That's
Yeah.
kind of the theory. And so you can go between the worlds via these small tendrils of magic. They call them bubbles.
Hmm.
And so they don't stumble upon the portal on accident. Beings, from the other world are here, and they're like, hey, you're going with us.
Yeah.
So they purposely go there, but it's not something they planned for.
Yeah.
They kind of just stumbled upon them, and they're like, well, I guess we'll do this now.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fun, I guess.
Okay.
I had fun writing it.
Yeah. But did you have fun editing it?
I would say that's 50-50. There were some times I wanted to like bang my head against a brick wall, but all in all, I liked seeing how the story evolved and improved.
Yeah.
Even my editor, when I submitted her the first draft, and then I submitted her the final revision, she was even floored about like how much the story had evolved and changed and grown, and she was impressed. And that makes me feel really good to watch my writing journey and the journey of the story and the characters.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Now, for this story, is your story more character driven, more plot driven? Is it a mixture?
I'd say mostly character driven.
Okay.
Very deep emotion. I write deep third.
Yeah.
So you're really into the perspective of the characters, and they have a lot of emotional turmoil. Cassie is a drug addict. She struggles. She wants to be clean because that's what all drug addicts do. And I took that from, even in our society, people underestimate drug addicts. If you say, oh, you're a drug addict, you blow them off, you underestimate them. That's their choice. They shouldn't have done that. You're judged.
Yeah.
And she ends up being a pretty pivotal hero.
Yeah.
And she has no magic. There's nothing special about her, but she can still go to a magical world, fit in, and not only that, she kind of saves the day a little bit.
Yeah.
So I really like that element of seeing her shine and giving an underdog a voice.
Yeah.
Another character suffers from severe anxiety, and she's just got really low emotional self-esteem. It turns out she has like some innate magical ability she didn't know, and that was part of her anxiety. And again, she develops into like, oh, I have these abilities. It's not just anxiety. It's, I can do some powerful things.
Yeah.
And I need to trust myself and listen to myself so I can tap into this. And then the other one, like I said, she was abandoned at birth, and she's the very typical lost princess story.
Mm-hmm.
Ava, one of my main characters, she is what you would expect in a fantasy.
Yeah.
She was driven out of her home, out of the Twin Kingdoms. She doesn't even know, but she is the lost princess, essentially.
Yeah.
And so that's why.
Did you just give away the whole story?
No,
Okay.
you learn that pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yes. No, yeah, it's pretty fun. And then these three characters coming together who are so different. Ava's kind of a mean, hard-ass person, and Sybil is, the emotional, insecure person, and Cassie's a drug addict. And these three women who have almost nothing in common come together, become friends, and they go to this world, and will they survive? Will they succumb to the curse? Will they kill each other first? Because
Yeah.
obviously they have a lot of disagreements along the way.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's it. But very, very character driven.
And the magic system that you have, just out of curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
because magic is fun to talk about.
Yes.
Is it the magic system? Is it I can use magic if I'm a magic controller and I can do things with magic, or is it a magic that exists and you can experience it? Like, is it more of an internal
Yes.
innate? Is it a learned thing, or is it a ambient thing?
So funny you should say that. It's a little bit of both. I call my magic systems what we call a hard magic system. There
Mhm.
are very defined limitations and rules, but there are different types of magics. There is innate magic. So the magical world of Orlon, if you are there and you do not have magic, you can feel it. You can kind of utilize it with enhancements. Their commodities and trades are in gems like rubies, diamonds, but they're not, because of their value like they are here. The gems contain the magic. So like a ruby contains the fire, a diamond contains the light, crystals are bubbles, they allow you to portal. So just because you're a regular human, if you had one of these gems, you could wield them.
Okay.
Now, anyone born in Orlon or the Twin Kingdoms, depending on the kingdom, you would have that magic running through your blood naturally.
Yeah.
So, like, if you are a mage, which are my main characters, you can shapeshift and you can conjure items. That is their magical element. If you are not born into that world and you're like, well, hey, I'd really like to conjure some things, you have to use the silver gems that they have. So yeah, you have a little bit of a mixture of everything.
Do you have like rune magic and scrolls and things like that come into play as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, and you can enhance things with runes, and runes are another form of a little bit of like blood magic. And we call it the umbrella of magic. So each one has a hierarchy. Innate magic is what it is. You cannot influence it. It overrides all things.
Yeah.
Rune magic is probably the second most powerful. You could, have a silver gem and try to conjure, but if I put a rune on it, I could block it.
Yeah, like the runes they're etched, carved, whatever,
exactly.
and it locks it in.
Yep, and usually you can use blood to carve a rune magic, and yeah, it will overpower everything except innate.
Okay.
So yeah, there's like a hierarchy system. It's actually in the very beginning of the book, in the introduction. It goes over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 types of magic.
Okay.
And so I just do that little introduction to tell you kind of the types there are.
Nice.
I had fun inventing it.
Yeah.
And coming up with and a lot of it got invented as we go when I was writing the story, because I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. So, but now I feel like it's very believable. It has believable limitations along with, abilities.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun.
Now, did you get from both a story and from a magic system, did you get any inspiration or like, oh, that, like, I really like that idea,
yes,
but I want to add my twist to it. Or
Yeah.
I really like these magics, I'm going to pull in elements from, like, did you actively?
Yes, I
do that
always, so some of my favorites are Brandon Sanderson, Patrick Rothfuss. I really like Patrick Rothfuss. His is more like a scientific based magic.
Except the love-hate of finish your
Oh
damn
my
series,
God, yes.
Patrick. It's
I'm
been
like-
long enough. Patrick, if
I
you're
think-
listening,
Yes. Was
finish it.
18 years? I think
Yeah.
it's 18 years.
Something like that.
I come on, dude.
Way too long.
If I can finish mine, you can finish yours.
Yeah.
But I really loved his scientific approach to the magic system. I did take a little bit of that into mine. It even goes into it, like how the magic is in your DNA and how it's, goes from generation to generation, how it passes from the gods. So I really love the scientific approach. My book does, because I'm a medical background in real life. So a lot of it is based on real medical and scientific facts.
Yeah.
I also just love shapeshifting in general, like Sarah J. Maas with her books, lots of shapeshifting. And as a kid, I always wished I could shapeshift.
Yeah.
That was one of my big things. Like, man, if I could turn into a cat right now, this would be super cool.
Yeah.
So, of course, I had to bring shapeshift in there. And that's kind of how I got werewolves and stuff like that. They're just shapeshifters gone bad, essentially. It's not regular werewolf lore.
Yeah.
It's
not
my
a
own
you
little-
get bit and then turn into
Exactly.
a werewolf by
It's not
full moon.
transmissible.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of that. I'm big into Marvel movies, so a lot of the superheroes, they're not superheroes in my story, but some of their abilities, I'm like, oh, that's a really interesting little thing. So I've kind of taken bits and pieces from a lot of different stories.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where I got my inspiration, I think. Those are some of my favorites.
Yeah, it's fun to look back and see as we're writing, to go back and be like, okay, where did we come up with this from?
Yes.
Like, is this an original thought, or who really gave this to me?
I
You
know. And sometimes I'm like, I'll think like, yeah, I made that up. And then I'm like, no, I think I got that from there. But I put my own flair on it.
Yeah.
And then the way you work it all together, I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because there's a million stories about werewolves, obviously. But the flair I put on mine and how that lore mixes in with the world that I've created and the characters, I believe is pretty original.
Yeah.
So just because I took a very well done trope, a werewolf, it's not the same.
Yeah. And if nothing else, I'm pretty sure the name Alandar, and so from our, like Alandar, Tawara, the Alkari, the Bachari, like none of that exists anywhere.
Yes.
So if nothing else, I'm pretty sure we came up with our own names.
How did you come up with the names? Did you just make them up, or
It's kind of
Yeah.
random. Yeah.
I did that. Like, I have a kingdom in here called Leave 'em Alone, which if you say it really fast, I was yelling at my dogs one day and I'm like, leave him alone. And I'm like, if you say that really fast, it's kind of a cool name.
Well, that's we have. There's an island, and it's the island of Bachari, and it's called that because the Bachari live there.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to come up with a name for the Bachari, and they're like, the best reference I can think of is, did you ever watch the movie Galaxy Quest?
Oh my God, years.
So the little green alien guys that are on there. That
if I can
Sigourney
remember.
Weaver's like, oh my gosh, they're gonna kill Guy.
Yes.
You know?
It's been so long, but I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about. Yes.
So it'd be like a chameleon version of those
Okay.
things, where like, but even beyond chameleon, like they can virtually disappear, and they don't let anybody on their island. If anybody who comes to their island, yeah, you die.
Mhm.
Like if you go there, you die. And we were just writing little SOBs because we didn't think of a name.
That's funny.
And then we were like, wait a minute, they're little Bachari.
I get it now. That's funny.
We're like,
I was thinking
that's
maybe
where
they
that came
butchered everybody, but now I get it. Yes, that's funny.
from. Like that's literally how that name came about.
Yeah, that's funny. But most of them, there is that thing called fantasynamegenerator.com.
Oh, yeah.
I got some from that. But a lot of them, I was just like sticking words together. Or like I have a character named Tacy. I'm like, it's literally Tracy without the R.
Yeah.
I'm like, that works. So.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wonder, like, in fantasy, why can't we just be like, you know, Richard and Patrick, you know, and Thomas, that,
Yeah.
you know, went sword fighting.
I have a
Like,
few of
no,
those.
no.
Yes. I
It's
have a
gotta
few
be
of those in mind.
Agomar.
Yeah, it has to be kind of cool.
Oh, there's a that's that same. So Jared, last weekend with hanging out with your son, with Michael, the fantasy group where they do the cartoons and stuff, where it's like they come up with different ideas, or it's like a 10-second blurb, but it's from like a D&D perspective of here's all the like funny scenarios that could happen. And one of them is, you know, if you look at prescription drugs, those are really just really good names for fantasy wizards.
They kind of are. Like, and so I work in the medical field, and honestly, over the last probably decade, I think they're running out of names because the pharmacy companies are becoming comedic about it. I have an antibiotic injectable that lasts 2 weeks. They named it Convenia.
Yeah.
And so I literally tell my clients, I'm like, well, it's very convenient.
Yeah.
Because I give it once and you don't have to do anything.
Yeah. They're like in the thing they're like, think about it, a hyperactive wizard named Adderall.
Yes, there you go. That's actually pretty. They should have that on commercials.
Right?
Yes, that's pretty fun.
Like there's so many things, just prescription drugs are, the reason it fits so well is either alchemists or wizards
Yes.
in fantasy.
The Harry Potter, the spell that lifts things, Wingardium Leviosa. We have a seizure medication called Levetiracetam.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, I just feel like Levitiracetum.
Yeah.
I'm casting a spell.
Yeah. So I'm like, just look at if you're trying to having a hard time
Yes.
coming up with fantasy names.
Look at drug names.
Yeah, just Google prescription drugs.
Yeah, that's not
And
a
there'll
bad
be
idea.
a big fat list of thousands, and you can just be, I'll just change a letter
Yeah.
there. You know.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I never even thought of that.
So I'm like, yes, it works. And they go through several of them in the little cartoon
Yeah.
video, and I'm like, yes, absolutely. Those are totally just fantasy wizard names.
They
So-
are. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Well, Aurelia, appreciate you coming and visiting with us today.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
So I do have a website, and I have Facebook, and
And your website is
I don't know off the top of my head. That's really bad, probably. It's like AM Aurelia author, like .wixsite.com.
but if somebody Googles AM Aurelia, and it's
Mhm.
Aurelia.
Yes.
So AM Aurelia,
Mhm.
they will find you.
Yes.
Should.
And the
Or
same.
some prescription medication.
Yes, or yes, there you go. And it's the same. I have Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and it's all AM Aurelia. I
Okay.
should be the only one. I think there are 2 TikToks of AM Aurelia, and I've tried to get TikTok to take the other one down, but it's empty. So
Yeah.
if you find the one with no content, that's not me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I might be the only AM Aurelia
Okay.
on all the social medias and the website. And my book is on Amazon and all major retailers online.
Okay. And the book again?
Curse of the Gifted,
Yes.
book 1 in the Twin Kingdoms trilogy. So,
Okay. So go check out AM Aurelia.
yeah.
Go to Amazon and find Curse of the Gifted.
Yep.
Read it and also review it.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I would love reviews. I'm
Yes.
just starting out. I don't have too many yet, but they all are really good so far, which makes my heart happy.
Yes. So go find Aurelia, find her books, read them, let her know how good they are. And book 2.
Book 2 is finished, but I will be publishing in 2026. I want to wait until book 3 is finished before I publish it. But book 2 is already back from the editor.
You don't like painting yourself into corners?
I don't like paint. No, I do not. I like continuity. I know where the story is going, but sometimes the details are what I don't
Yeah.
know. And in my opinion,
Dang it, she really needed to have red hair. for
exactly.
this to fix.
Actually, that really did happen. I had to add a tattoo to one of my characters that I didn't have until book 2. So I had to go back and add the tattoo. So it's little things like that I'm just like, even though it's ready, I'm going to be sitting on it for a while. But I will enlist ARC readers. So if anyone's interested, they can do that.
And can they reach out? Can they contact you through Facebook or
Yep.
through?
I have my Facebook email is activated. It goes straight to me. And I have amaurelia.author@gmail.com.
Okay.
So that's how
So
you
if
can
you
reach
want to
me.
be an ARC reader,
Yep.
reach out.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
And for everybody listening, we appreciate you coming along with us today. Aurelia's our last interview today. So we will see you next time. Till then, go in good spirits. Thanks for listening to the Creators Guild podcast. Don't forget to get your copy of A Flight from Shadows, available on Amazon. While you're there, please rate it and give it a review. If you like the Creators Guild, please like and subscribe, and make sure to share it with your friends. Until next time, go in good spirits.